Good morning, everyone. We've reached the top of the hour, and if you would rise, if you're able, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I welcome everyone to our first board meeting for 2026. My name is Tom Foster. I'm the president of the 2026 Board of Directors, and this regular meeting of the Rec Centers of Sun City is audio and video recorded as well as live streamed by the RCSC management and staff. So please take your cell phones and electronic devices and check to see that they're on a silent mode. I am slowly remembering to do that before we start, but it's taken me 2 years. As a reminder, we do not tolerate any verbal or physical abuse or aggression toward any member, guest, or RCSC staff, and offenders may be asked to leave the meeting. Let me introduce our timekeeper and management personnel. Timekeeper will be Secretary Keiss.
Good morning.
On the management side, General Manager Rebecca Hill.
Good morning.
Director of Finance Kevin McCurdy.
Good morning.
Director of Facilities Mike Whiprud.
Hello.
Director of Operations Mike Deermeyer.
Good morning.
He's in the back table all by himself there. Director of Golf Eddie Renio. And the board coordinator is Marcia Johnson. Let me recognize Alan Kleinhans, Carla Young, and Miguel Jackson, who are our audiovisual engineers. And as always, thank the Sundial staff for setting up the room for us. All right, our first item of business is a roll call of the voting members. Secretary Keiss, would you please take that roll call?
Director Brissett.
Good morning, everybody.
Director Mapes.
Good morning.
Director Ruff.
Present.
I am here. Treasurer Gray.
Good morning, everybody.
Vice President Nettesheim.
Good morning, everybody.
And President Foster.
Present.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. As you just heard, if you were not aware, previous Secretary, Treasurer Anita Borski is now off the board, and Mr. Director Gray is now Treasurer Gray. So welcome aboard. Okay, approval of the agenda. Is there any questions from the board on the agenda that's proposed for today's meeting? All right, seeing none, the agenda is approved. The minutes of the December 18th meeting were posted for the directors to review. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Oh, wait. On the first page, I think under the treasurer's report, did the vice president read the treasurer's report? She did. All right, in that case, we're good. I have no changes. And I'm on December. I thought Anita still read that.
Anita read it. No, she was here in December. She was here for the last board meeting.
That's what I thought.
Okay, that's true.
So I thought that should read, Treasurer Borski read the treasurer's report.
October, November.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other issues with the minutes? All right, seeing none. The minutes are accepted as amended. Treasurer's report. Treasurer Gray, would you please comment on the treasurer's report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President.
I've watched over the years a certain amount of glaze that goes over people's eyes when we go over the treasurer's report. And so I did mine a little different today. I'm glad to see that we may have more people over looking at what's going on with our APS rates, which may be why we don't have as many people here. But I wanted to, instead of giving the regular treasury report, which you can see online, I put together a summary, and I call it my fiscal health report for 2025. And so these are a little different comments, but it's geared more toward people that don't have the same kind of joy of reading balance sheets and profit and loss statements. So the bottom line is we're in great financial shape and we're getting better. We're getting stronger. What we owe and what we own, think of the RCSC like your household finances. We have assets, which we own. We have liabilities, what we owe. Our total assets grew by $10 million from $151.6 million to $161.7 million. That's like having your home increase in value by 6.6%. We have strong reserves. We're holding $62.3 million in dedicated funds for future repairs, improvements, and emergencies. This money we've set aside specifically to keep our facilities in top condition. Did we make or lose money in 2025? We made money, and here's how. Our income, our membership fees, activity fees, et cetera, increased by 7%. Yes, our expenses went up also, but we managed them well. At year end, we had $2.1 million more than what we spent, and that was actually $80,000 better than what we planned. And as an insert, I want to say, that's because we've got great staff. The people that are sitting down at these tables have done a fantastic job this last year. If you remember the year before, we had some serious concerns on finances. But we've got a great staff. They've done a great job, and it's turned out very well for our community. Our savings are working for us. We don't just let money sit idle. We invest it safely and conservatively. We earned $1.8 million in investment income in 2025. All investments followed strict safety rules. We only used FDIC insured options. This investment income helps, keeps your membership lower. What's this mean to you? Your recreation centers are financially stable. We have plenty of reserves for future maintenance and improvements. We're living within our means and even building savings. Your fees have been managed responsibly. So the bottom line is we're in great financial shape. So a question may come up, why are our fees going up? Because as you know, we're slated to have fee increases. Let me explain. We did have a good year. In summary, our income increased by 7% in 2025. We ended the year with $2.1 million ahead, even $80,000 better than budgeted. Our investments earned an additional $1.8 million, and our total assets grew by $10 million to $161.7 million. So what's the problem? Here's the reality. Our costs keep going up too. While we had a good year, our operating expenses increased significantly. Utilities, insurance, maintenance, supplies, everything costs more. And just as a side note, if you've looked at our sheets, our insurance went up 31%. That's a huge, if we had a small amount of insurance, it would be something, but we have, insurance is expensive. Little things like a lawsuit can really impact us. So that was a major impact. Labor costs continue to rise. Now, we all know our budgets go up. It's the same for our employees. Their costs go up too. So our labor costs rise. The cost of maintaining aging facilities keeps increasing. These aren't one-time expenses. They're our new normal. The 0.7% that we gained isn't enough to keep pace with our ongoing inflation and rising costs. We are planning for the future. The $62 million that we have in reserves sounds like a lot, but it's earmarked for specific purposes, major repairs, facility improvements, and replacements. We can't use these restricted funds to cover daily operating costs. As our facilities, many are 40 years plus years old, repair and replacement costs continue to accelerate. We need to be ready for major projects like roof repairs, HVAC, and pool renovations. And if you're watching social media, you've heard we've had some people concerned about some of our therapy pools and the issues that we've had in maintaining those. Those are costs. Our investment income helps, but it isn't enough. Yes, we've earned $1.8 million from investments, and that money does help us to keep our fees lower than they would be otherwise. But investment income fluctuates and can't be guaranteed. We can't budget based on unpredictable market returns, and it supplements our operations, but it can't replace fee income. So the hard truth about inflation, even though we're managing well, we can't escape economic reality. When everything costs 3 to 5% more each year, standing still means falling behind. The small surplus we generated, 0.7%, doesn't create enough cushion for future increases. So without fee adjustments, we're quickly eating away at our operating reserves. So what we're doing to keep increases minimal: investing conservatively to generate additional income, controlling expenses wherever possible, planning maintenance to avoid costly emergency repairs later, and staying ahead of major facility needs so that they don't become a crisis. What the fee increase means: the assessment increase isn't about wasting money, it's about maintaining what we have. Keeping all 8 recreation centers open and well-maintained, ensuring pools, fitness centers, and facilities stay in good shape. Avoiding deferred maintenance, which leads to much costlier repairs later. Protecting property values in Sun City by maintaining excellent amenities. Think of it this way: your home probably increased in value this year, but your property taxes, insurance, and utilities also went up. The same principle applies here. The alternative would be worse. Without periodic adjustments, we'd need additional, much larger, shocking increases. Facilities would deteriorate. We'd have to cut programs and services. Property values would suffer. We understand this isn't welcome news, but we're committed to transparency about how we use your money. Remember, a strong financial position doesn't mean we're immune to tomorrow's cost. Responsible planning means making small, regular adjustments instead of facing crisis later. So the bottom line is, we've done very well this last year. The commitment that we have is to maintain the best possible financial position with the lowest possible cost to our members. And I think when you look at this last year, we've accomplished that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Treasurer Gray. I was not anticipating that speech, but that was excellent. Thank you.
Well, like I said, I think most people don't have the oddity that some of us have, where we really enjoy looking at balance sheets but there's so much truth in there. It's just, I think, better to translate. And again, and I want to applaud our staff again. We've got some great people on staff. They serve our community well. And this is my first year on the board, so it's kind of an anniversary to me. We've got, and nobody's paid me to say this, but we've got great board members that also care deeply about watching out for our members. And so it's an honor to serve our community. And again, it's great to see what we're doing, the progress we've been making, and I think it's very positive.
Well, I guess I should say I'm.
You're not used to getting any kind of positive comment.
I'm not, and
Everybody picks on Tom, including the board, just so you know. You want to keep him humble, but he's not used to compliments.
the reference to someone who is merely odd because they look at balance sheets and income statements, and worse, understand them. I guess I've been called worse things, so I'll accept being merely odd and take that as a compliment. Okay, let's see, Ms. Johnson, did anyone sign up to speak about the treasurer's report?
Mr. President, this is a new process, and I unfortunately did not print sign-in sheets for the treasurer's report or the management report. So I don't know if someone wants to make a comment on the treasurer's report or not.
Anyone, was there anyone on live stream, Alan?
No, there is not.
All right, thank
I
you.
will definitely do it next month.
No, Alan's doing it now. Okay.
Oh, well.
Okay, then let's move to the management report. Were there, so you didn't have any sign up for that either? Okay, that's fine. Were there any comments from the directors on the management report? Okay.
And Director McCurdy, so when we have an excess over of of revenue versus expenditures for the previous year. Where does that excess money go and what do we do with it? I know part of it is if it's allocated to clubs, that gets rolled over so the clubs can use it in the next year, but where does the rest of that, what do we do with the rest of that?
So Director Kaiser, are we talking about capital budget or operating budget?
I'm talking
Net
about the,
excess or savings on the projects?
I believe he's talking about operating.
operating
Okay.
excess, yes.
So basically, that just flows into our general funds in the checking account, and that's available for operating usages.
What about for capital for projects?
So capital projects would just remain in our capital reserve fund and would be available to be used on future projects. If, sometimes at the end of the year, we're still either working on or planning to work on projects that have not been completed at the end of the year, and those funds will just roll over into the next year to be available to complete those budgeted projects.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to mention that, we collected $1.8 million more in PIF last year, and we had $500,000 above in interest income above what we projected for last year. So that puts another $2.4 million into the PIF fund that we hadn't anticipated, and I think that's very good for us. I also thought it was interesting to note that our incident reports were down by almost 100 last year, and I think that's very good for our community and it says a lot for what's going on, so that's a good thing. And year-to-date, Mr. Whiprud, we completed 5,970 work orders, and I think that's fantastic. You guys are doing a great job, so we appreciate it very much. I'm sorry I took your speech. Yeah. No, actually, I'm not. I take it back. I'm not sorry I took your speech. And I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Director Brissett, did you?
Well, I was going to.
All right.
Anyway, I would like to say, Mr. Whirlpool, that's a fantastic job, doing over almost 6,000 work orders in a year. Your crew is doing a great job. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Vice
guys.
President Nedesign.
So this is normally where I have all my little tags and I'm reading through questions. I'm going to take a different approach this month because it's the beginning of the year. And I want to express my thanks to our new general manager, to our directors, and all the way down to every employee in our organization. We had an amazing year last year. It was a year filled with a lot of change. And I just want to compliment the staff and thank them for everything that they have done. You guys, we went for months without a general manager, and we were able to keep projects moving forward, keep things rocking along. And I just want to thank our leadership team and every employee for everything they have done for RCSC. I cannot thank you guys enough because without you, we wouldn't have all these wonderful amenities. So, thank you.
Okay. Committee liaison reports. Are there any reports by the directors? Yes. Secretary Kais?
Yeah, as many of you know, I'm the liaison to the Sun City Fire Department. They started to mention that there are several nonprofits aside from RCSC in the Sun City area, such as Royal Oaks is a nonprofit, Banner Boswell is a nonprofit. Even though those entities have they've got a lot of real estate, they've got a lot of income and things like that, they don't realize any property taxes. So the Sun City Fire Department doesn't get any taxes coming out of the hospital or coming out of Royal Oaks or any of the other nonprofits. And that's one of the big things that affects their budget greatly. So I've encouraged people in the past, and I continue to encourage you, get a hold of your representatives and let them know that our fire departments are underfunded. And that's ending up costing us as citizens more money also, because when you go and they come and visit you and it's not a non-medical ambulatory emergency, it's going to cost you money out of your pocket. And so far they've billed $422,000 for things like that, but only $100,000 have been collected. So if we can encourage our legislators to increase the amount of money that's given to the fire departments to fund them correctly, it's not going to come directly out of our pockets for an emergency, or you're not going to be afraid to get a hold of the fire department in case you need them, just because you know you're going to incur another $315. So please, get a hold of your legislators and let them know we need to fund our fire department better.
Any others? Vice President Nettesheim.
So I am the liaison for the Friends, and I'd like to introduce myself as the president of the foundation. I was elected to the foundation as president this year. So let's start with the foundation. I'm going to give a brief overview of where we ended the year. Basically, we doubled the number of assistants that we provided to our members. For somewhere around approximately $63,000, a little bit more, that we helped our members with. In addition to that, we ended the year pretty much in the same place that we started the year financially, which means that we did not deplete our principal that we have through donations from things like Desert Diamond Casino, donated money to us. We have had members that have made donations, members who help with Santa for Seniors. Through all of that, we have been able to sustain, pretty much hold steady with our principal. So that's what I wanted to share about the foundation. We're moving forward. We're looking at being very planned in how we approach the fundraising events that we have this year. We're excited, and we are looking forward to the new year. So that's my update on the foundation. On top of that, I would just like to speak about the Friends of the Library. The Friends of the Library run the bookstores in our 2 libraries. All of those funds go back into the libraries through programming, through different things that the library has asked for assistance for. So just wanted to let everybody know that that's continuing, and they are focused on moving forward with their programming and their assistance to the libraries throughout this year as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other, Director Mapes?
Yeah, I'm going to say something. Yes, I'm chair of the COC committee, the club's organizations, and I just want to put it out there that we've been doing, Angela from the office has been putting on, for new board members of all the clubs, a training session so they learn how everything works, how to get things done. She's got one today at 2 o'clock at the Grand Center in the Snoring Room, runs from 2 to 4. And then the last one is Friday, this Friday, at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the Bell Center at the bowling alley. So if anybody's interested in going, please feel free to come in and see what it's about. We're also looking for new committee members. So if anyone might want to find out exactly what we do, please give us a call. We'd be happy to tell you. Thank you.
Okay. Director Ruff.
Yes, I would like to invite people that have interest in being on any of the committees of the board to submit your resume. If you're not sure you want to do it, go attend one of the meetings and sit in the back and listen and see if it's a fit for you. We need your help to help make these committees fully the size that we would like and with the input we need. Thank you.
Okay. I'm assuming those are all the announcements here. Okay. Very short for president comments. One, thank you, Treasurer Gray, for your thorough review of the treasurer's report. So you stole all my thunder about, we had been pledging to you that we were going to finish in the black come blankety blank or high water in 2025, and we did, and that was a terrific team effort from everyone involved. So again, can't thank management and staff enough for the focus and concerted effort to make sure we stayed on time and on budget. So thank you very much for that. And then the last thing I wanted to just briefly mention is you might notice, we're still a board of 7, and we should be a board of 9. So we are still taking resumes till the end of this month, well, so I guess through tomorrow. And then we will be looking for some time during February to have some brief interviews with everyone who has expressed an interest in being appointed to the board for 2026. It was eye-opening to me to be looking at the calendar for February and seeing how hard it's going to be to find time to do that, but we will find some time to make sure that anyone who has expressed an interest has an opportunity to sit down with the board members and basically interview for a position to be appointed to serve on the board for 2026. All right, so the next thing on the agenda is the second reading of a couple motions. The first would be the second reading of a motion to approve Board Policy Number 7, titled Bid Procedures and Contracts. Vice President Nettesheim, would you please read that motion?
I move to amend Board Policy Number 7, titled Bid Procedures and Contracts.
All right. There is no second needed for a second reading. So Vice President Nettesheim, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, I would. So for this board policy change, we made the standard board policy preamble changes. We aligned the naming convention to the current department titles. We added that a vendor would be able to compete for a contract if they did not conform to our requirements, but prior to award, they would have to conform, which allows them to enter the bid process while they do all their dotting of the i's and crossing of the t's. We have new procedure steps. I don't want to go through them. I went through them a lot last time, but we had new procedure steps for the bid process. And then we also updated the wording around the membership of the bid, how many people we can have on the bid commission. So those are the basic changes for Board Policy 7.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of any member who has signed up to speak on this particular motion?
Ed Lenhart. Oh, okay. Mr. President, then no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Is there something you wanted to speak at, sir? And which one, well, just hang on, just this, I don't want to exclude you inadvertently from the one you wish to speak on, but it's not this one. Well, that makes things tougher. Okay, so what happens in a board meeting is members are allowed to speak on any of the formal motions that are before the board, and that's what you sign up for. If there are other issues that you would like to raise, those are handled at the exchange meetings, and you can just step up and you take a number at the back of the room, and when your number's called, come up and you can express your issue to the board. So, okay. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Is there any discussion by board members on this particular motion? All right. Seeing none. The motion before you is the motion to amend Board Policy Number 7, titled Bid Procedures and Contracts. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissette.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Treasurer Gray.
Yes.
Vice President Nedesheim,
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and 0 no votes.
So the motion passes its second reading. Thank you, sir. Next item of business is also a second reading. This is a motion to amend Board Policy 10 entitled RCSC Rules and Regulations. Vice President Nedesheim, would you please read that motion?
I move to amend Board Policy 10 titled RCSC Rules and Regulations.
There is no second needed, again, for a second reading. Vice President Nedesheim, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, I would like to. So a highlight of the changes in Board Policy 10 is the standard preamble changes at the top that we did for all board policies. The member comment procedure was updated in the board policy. The hydration options on the different racket courts, with the exception of racquetball, was updated to include not just water, other hydration options. And then we had a change to the non-reservable spaces, like the breezeway out there. We can have more than 10 members socialize in the breezeway. For reservable spaces, it still says if you're going to go into a reservable space, you need to reserve that space if there's more than 10 people. But like the community room that we have, the community social space we have at Fairway, the breezeway, the Riverview, the little side room at Riverview Golf Grill, all of those are non-reservable spaces, and you can have the 10-plus people rule doesn't apply, so we made that change. And those are the highlights of the change for Board Policy 10.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Okay. Alan, anything on live stream?
No, sir.
Thank you. Any discussion by directors? All right, seeing none. The motion before you is a motion to amend Board Policy 10, titled RCSC Rules and Regulations. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
Treasurer Gray.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. So this motion passes its second reading. Moving on to new business. The next item of business is a motion to approve $4,000 to be donated to the Sun City Posse for their continued support of the community in 2026. Director Brissett, would you please read your motion?
I move to approve $4,000 to be paid to the Sun City Posse for their continued support with the event parking and other services in 2026.
Thank you. Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second.
Secretary Keiss has seconded. Director Brissett, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first for its adoption?
Yes, I would, Mr. President. People I know are very aware that the Sun City Posse patrols our streets all day long. But there's other things they do also. Like, for instance, a blood drive they run every year. They have a recycle day called a shred-a-thon, and I believe that's twice a year they do that. Once a year, they do a drug take-back with the MCSO and the DEA for people who have expired drugs or they're no longer using the drugs, they can turn them in. They do the crowd, the parking for the Sun Bowl concerts all year long, whenever we have them, or any other ones we have. They come out for the golf cart parade at Santa Claus time. They assist MCSO and Sun City Fire by watching their equipment while they're helping our members. They're out in the road watching, directing some traffic, and making sure nobody gets into the equipment because people seem to like the equipment in fire departments. Last year, they have a program called Vacation Watch. When we leave in the summer, they'll come around, take a ride by your house and all. Last year, they did 22,261 vacation watches. That's a lot of trips. They do welfare checks and missing persons. And last year, they did a total of 220 calls for welfare checks and missing persons. And of them, they were able to solve 169 of them without having to call MCSO. And last year, they had a total of 31,100 calls that they covered last year. I believe they commit quite a service to us, and we don't pay them, and I believe this is a small amount for the help and the assistance they give to us.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Alan, anything on live stream?
No speakers online.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion by the directors? Secretary Kais.
I just want to echo what Director Brissett does. The posse does a fantastic work for our community and RCSC, and it's all volunteers, and they're a fantastic organization, and we are very blessed to have them working with us and in our midst.
Thank you. All right. Vice President Nettesheim.
So I'm pretty sure everybody knows that we recently had like 4 fires within our walls over the last 6 weeks or so. One of the things that I found surprising was when I heard that when our fire department is deployed, that the posse is there controlling the crowds. Because we care about each other, we see something that is very traumatic, we come out to provide support, and with the best of intentions, not realizing sometimes we can accidentally get in the way of firefighters. So the fact that the posse is there doing those sorts of things, helping aid our community in that way, I think this is an amazing, amazing group of people that are very dedicated to our community. So I am totally in support of providing, basically some financial assistance as a thanks for everything that they do.
All right. Anyone else from the directors? All right. Seeing none, the motion before you is a motion to approve $4,000 to be donated to the Sun City Posse for their continued support in 2026. Secretary Kais, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Treasurer Gray.
Yes.
Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and 0 no votes.
All right. So this motion has passed its first reading. All right. The next item of business is a motion to identify one of the versions of option 3 that was suggested to the board in January 13th, 2026 by the Triarch Architecture and Design firm for the Mountain View renovation project. The versions to be considered by the board were identified as option 3, 3A, and 3B. After the board identifies one of the alternatives, Triarch Architecture and Design will proceed with the design phase of the Mountain View renovation project, focusing on the identified option. Vice President Nettesheim, would you please read your motion?
I move to identify one of the member-driven versions of option 3 suggested to the board on January 13th, 2026 by Triarch Architecture and Design for the Mountain View renovation project as the board's preferred option of option 3. The versions to be considered by the board were identified as option 3, 3A, 3B. After the board identifies one of the alternatives, Triarch Architecture and Design will then proceed with the design phase of the Mountain View renovation project, focusing on that identified option.
Thank you. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Treasurer Gray has seconded.
Mr. President, I move to divide the motion regarding the Triarch facility options into 3 separate questions, all of which include fixed floor seating for the performance space. Option 3A is a reduced scope renovation that retains the existing tennis and mini golf amenities, excludes renovation of the racket mini golf buildings, eliminates the outdoor kitchen, mini golf shaded seating, and therapy pool reduces the square footage of the fitness and facilities areas, and includes 384 seats in the performance space. The budget for this option is $28,010,819. Option 3B is a full amenity renovation, including renovation of tennis and mini golf, renovation of racket mini golf buildings, includes the therapy pool, reduces square footage of the fitness and facilities area, and includes 384 seats in the performance space. The budget for this option is $29,149,610. The original September 9th, 2025 proposal, which is option 3, includes outdoor kitchen, renovated tennis and mini golf, renovated racket mini golf buildings, includes the therapy pool, includes larger fitness and facilities area, includes 420-seat performance space, and the budget for this option is $32,696,901.
Right? It has been, okay, is there a second to divide the current motion?
Second.
Seconded by Treasurer Gray. So it's been moved and seconded to divide the motion into 3 parts to identify which version of member-driven option 3 to proceed with. So do I have general consent from the board to divide this motion?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. As maker of the now divided motion, Vice President Nettesheim, do you wish to speak first to this motion?
Yes, President Foster, I do. So I actually went back and listened to what I said in September to make sure I didn't repeat it, because you all heard my family history in September. This is the next step in the process for Mountain View, and it is, at this point, a critical step. We have now narrowed it down to exactly what we want to be there and at what size. There are still additional design decisions to be made, like what color cabinets, how many cabinets, do we have, parquet floors, or do we have slat floors? There's different decisions to be made around that. Do we have purple sails or green sails for shading, different things. So that's still to be made during the design phase, but this is the critical step where Tri-Arc can then move forward and design to the option and budget that we are proposing for Mountain View. So I have talked for several months now about where as we've been moving forward. Once this is done, we are well on our way to doing Mountain View. We are, in my mind, from a board perspective, not from the architect's perspective, I want to be really clear on this, but from the board perspective, we're more than 50% there. So this is a key vote, and it's really important. And we have listened to the members. We listened to them at the January town hall. And members shared their thoughts and feelings about the different options, and we have weighed those as well. So I look forward to hearing your comments, if anybody signed up to that for them, and for actually taking the vote and saying, here we are, this is what we're going to do, and this is how much we're going to spend, and off we go.
You can tell that Vice President Nettesheim is passionate about this particular situation. Okay, we're going to call the names here of those who have signed up to speak on this motion that has now been divided. So I ask that you identify which option you're speaking for or against, so that we don't get confused about, or you don't get confused about what you're trying to express as far as your opinion one way or the other. We'll still follow our policy of 3 minutes to speak. And Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of the members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Greg Engstrom.
Good morning. Greg Engstrom, 37093. I don't know if you need that. I'm the president of the board of Players Club. And it is our understanding that only the base 3 includes enough area for us to construct our sets and set pieces in the performance area. The other two do not, if I'm from our last meeting, I think that's what the architect said. So we would advocate for that reason, selfishly, for our club to use Vice President Nittisheim's term so that we don't have 75 to 80-year-olds schlepping our set pieces and our set from someplace other than the performance area. So that would be all I really have to say. And then if for some reason we don't have the money or you don't decide that we can't, perhaps this is not part of the motion, but then we don't see from the drawings why we would have to then destroy what we call our shop right now, where we do build those things. So if that could be kept during the construction phase, it would give us a lot of room to store all the stuff that we have in Mountain View right now without having to come up with the money to rent some other place. But I think that's a side issue. But anyway, we're advocating for the base 3 for that reason. Thank you.
Steve Collins?
Well, okay. That's fine.
Thank you. Steve Collins, 166871. Well, for all the time I was on the board, we've always had people coming in trying to stop every new project. And we've had the same people get on the board, try to stop it from within the board by trying to take over and gain control, and they failed. Mr. Foster, you unmercifully get criticized on social media by the same people, and I'm sorry for that. As you can see by the people here, they just want this done. They're done listening to this and that, and just get it done. That's what they want. And I think you guys are doing well. I looked over the things here. Option 3A is what I like, except for you guys, a therapy pool, 30 by 20. That is huge. All they wanted was a hot tub, like at Bell or at Sundial. And I don't think you need to eliminate the outdoor hot tub. You know, it doesn't have to be 30 by 20. But a lot of the stuff that you did eliminate, you know, I can see, especially when it comes down to the sports. You don't have to eliminate them, but as we go along, we see if we have money left, we can also make them bigger again. You don't have, you know, you can bring back things if we're doing well. And hopefully the architect will be doing that, and Mr. Whipple will be on him to make sure. So keep moving forward. Don't stop. Don't let the same people who criticize you every day slow you down. Hang in there tough, because they lose every battle they go up against you. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Tad Daughters?
Tad Daughters, 117436. I'd like to thank the board for the work that they have done so far in the modification and renovation for Mountain View. I'm also on the board for the players, and I'd love to see option A go forward. However, given fiscal responsibility, I don't think that's possible. Option 3A cuts a lot out of the situation. As one of the 80-year-old schleppers, I'd love to see the construction area with the rest of the performance area, but if we can't, we can't. The reduction from 420 to 384 seats, while I'd like to see more, I think we can live with the 384. And I would like to see the board, instead of going with option 3A, go with 3B. That covers a lot of the requirements and wants for the other people at Mountain View. I'm also a resident in the area and would be appreciative of having as many of the options that under 3 as possible, and 3B seems to do that for only about a 7% increase in cost. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, everyone who signed up has spoken.
Okay. Is there anyone, Alan, on live stream?
No, I see no comments.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the plan now would be for the board to address each one of these options individually and ask the directors to make their comments now. And then we would vote on each of those options, and the option that carries the majority will be the option that we would move forward with. And just a note here that with 7-member board, a majority is 4, not 5 now. I guess the first option for discussion from the directors now is option 3A. So is there any discussion by the directors on option 3A? Secretary Kais.
Yeah, currently, just so everybody is aware, we have in the PIF forecast, which is just a forecast, it's not a plan, it's not an allocation, we have $28 million in the PIF forecast allocated for Mountain View. As noted earlier, we had an excess of $2.4 million going into the PIF fund. So we can move to options, other options that work better for our community than 3A, I believe, without affecting anything else that's currently on the PIF forecast. So I think that option 3A is very limiting for us. As Mr. Collins noted, it takes some things out. I don't think this serves our community well.
Excuse me, Director Ruff?
Yes, I look at the price of this and am astonished that it's so high. But I also look that if we don't do it now, it's going to be even more later. And so if we're going to do this, we need to go forward as we are doing. And I'll leave it at that for now.
All right, I wonder if I should refer to you as Vice President Nedasine or Vice President Schlepp. It's becoming almost a synonym for you, so.
I think no schlep would be better.
No
okay,
schlepping,
all right.
right.
All right, well, be that as it may, Vice President Nedasine, do you have
So-
a comment?
Option 3A, while it is around the amount that we had on the PIF forecast, my concern is everything we have to sacrifice to get there. There is just such tremendous sacrifices being made to adhere to a number that was pre-COVID inflation, because that number has kind of come forward through the years. And just we have to give up so much, so incredibly much, that it feels like we're settling. And as Mr. Daughter said, it's a 7% increase for 3B. It's definitely more than that for option 3. But I just feel that option 3A just takes too much away. For the amount of money we're spending, we just give up too much to stick with that number. And that's just my personal opinion, so.
Thank you. Treasurer Gray.
Thank you. I am very conservative financially, and I appreciate this number at the bottom of this page. I like this number best of all. But I'm also acutely aware of long-term costs. And when you start looking at what's taken out of this, the 20-year projection on this, it isn't as cheap as what the number is. And so, and I agree with you, for the little bit of increase, it's not worth it. I think this is, again, and this isn't something, we didn't ask them to take out certain things. We said, give us a package that we can evaluate. But again, I think I concur with my other former or fellow board members that this just takes out too much, and in the long run, it would actually cost us more. And I do want to add one little thing, because I think when you're not on the board, and when I was out in just listening, you hear these things about what's going on with the board. And one of the things I want to let everybody know that I appreciate is that when I came this morning, I was interested to see how we were going to vote, because we did not discuss this at all. And again, I put kudos on our president. He has avoided, he wanted to make sure we don't come pre-planned. And a lot of people may not agree with that. They may not believe that, but that's the truth. I tell people what's the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. We came here, none of us have really pre-planned anything. So for me, this is kind of exciting, was what's everybody going to choose? But again, for me, even though I like the number, I'm fiscally conservative, I don't think this is beneficial in the long run for our community, for the people that live there. That's my view on 3A.
Okay, thank you, sir. Others? I guess I would chime in that I too am somewhat fiscally conservative, but I do worry about our needs for meeting Arizona Department of Water Resources requirements, and so I am cautious about being too enthusiastic about what we do here today. So I tend to be a little bit, I know there is some give up here, but I am worried about meeting budgets in the long run. So I have some tendency to want to hang tight to the number that we had given the membership for quite some time now, and we'll just see where this goes. So are there any other comments by directors before we move forward on with option 3A? All right, Secretary Kais, would you please take the roll call vote on option 3A?
Director Brissett.
Can we keep Treasurer Gray in suspense a little while longer? Okay. No.
Director Mapes.
No.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
Treasurer Gray.
No.
I vote no. Vice President Nedesheim.
No.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 2 yes votes and 5 no votes.
All right. So the noes at this point in time have voted down option 3A. The next option for discussion and vote would be option 3B. Is there any discussion on this by the directors? If you choose to make
Okay, so,
something, then yes, I would.
sir, I move to amend option 3B to say, a full amenity renovation, including renovation of tennis and mini golf, new enlarged racket and mini golf buildings, therapy pool, reduced square footage of fitness and facility areas, 384 seats in the performance space. The budget for this option would be $30,100,000.
Okay, so you would like to take option 3B and add a couple more things that increases the cost by just under $1 million, if I remember correctly.
Essentially, what that does is instead of renovating the racket and mini golf buildings, which we know from Triarch are in horrible condition, that we take them down and put new buildings in. We're making the rest of the area new with new buildings and improved, so I think we should do that for these two, and let's do it right the first time.
Is there a second to Secretary Keis's amendment?
I'll second.
Okay, Director Brissette has seconded. Is there any further discussion by the directors on the proposed amendment to the motion to adopt option 3B?
Yeah.
Okay, Treasurer Gray?
Jim is holding off, I guess.
Oh, okay. I was concerned. I couldn't tell who was raising their hand over there.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was waiting, yeah. No, I appreciate the motion. I appreciate the idea. Again, it's always great to upgrade. Again, looking at the long term and what we have, we're looking at another $1 million. I think, I'll just say I like this particular plan because I think it prepares us for what's coming in the future, our next generation. It reduces the long-term cost of having renovations that we would have had to make in A. But I think going that extra, in essence, $1 million, I don't see as economically viable as in the long payoff is what the proponent probably sees. And so unless I can see something that would, numbers that would encourage me otherwise, yeah, I'm not supportive of the motion.
All right, Director Ruff, did you wish to comment?
Yes, I think if we're going to go forward with this, that we should renovate take down the existing buildings that Preston recommended and do them new so that the whole facility looks like new, or is new.
Secretary Keis?
And I think it's also important to note that even with these increases to option 3B, we're still under the excess money that we got from the PIF, for the PIF fund this year. So this does not affect in any way any other project that is currently has funding numbers on the PIF forecast.
Any other comments from directors? Director Mapes?
Yes, I like the idea of tearing down those buildings, rebuilding, that's perfect. But the therapy pool, I think we could shrink that size down. I mean, that's just way too big. If we do that, you're gonna be saving, besides water, the jets and everything else going into it. So that'll bring that down just a little bit more. But if we're gonna cut anything, that would be it.
Well, that may be a design issue that can be addressed. Whether or not it's included is what we worry about today, and whether it's 2 feet by 3 feet or 30 by 20 feet, we'll address that next time. Other comments or concerns here about Secretary Keis's proposed amendment? Vice President Nettesheim.
So I did talk with Triarch about the renovation of the two buildings because I was concerned also that we were not going to build new, we were going to renovate. And I kind of think, in my mind is this flipper thing that we have going on where it all looks nice and pretty, but the guts of the thing is not really fixed. And they explained to me that these are high-end renovations that run just about $100 less per square foot than building new. So they're actually like going to the studs and replacing and repairing and renovating everything. So it's not a case of it would be a low-end renovation per se. It's a high-end renovation. So I don't know if that influences anybody on the board or not, but I just wanted to share that as being the case.
Thank you for that. I was also aware of that distinction, and it's not just a new coat of paint. It is a more extensive renovation of those two buildings. But in any event, go ahead, Secretary Keiss.
I think it's important to note with the new buildings that are being built there, they're larger than the current facilities that are there. And if you've been in the building down by where lawn bowling is now, or you've been in the building by the mini golf area, they're kind of dungeons, and they're small. And if, we talk about making the buildings and this facility more ADA capable, and the bathrooms in there and the stalls are just tiny. If you've been in the fitness area, which some people have, and walked out because I'm never going to go back there again, it's in the same kind of shape as that. So I think it's important to note with the new buildings, they're larger, we can put in more and better ADA capable facilities, so that's going to be better for our membership.
Right. Any further comments on Secretary Keiss's proposed amendment?
I agree with what Preston just said.
All right. Are we prepared to vote on Secretary Keiss's proposed amendment? All right. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote on the amendment to the original motion on option 3B?
Can I ask that Preston read it again, please?
Certainly. I move to amend the motion for option 3B to say a full amenity renovation, including renovation of tennis and mini golf, new enlarged racket and mini golf buildings, therapy pool, reduced square footage of fitness and facilities areas, 384 seats in the performance space. The budget for this option is $30,100,000.
Right, so is everyone clear on what you would be voting for or against on this proposed amendment? Okay. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Treasurer Gray.
No.
Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
I vote no.
So we have 5 yes votes and 2 no votes.
All right. The original motion for option 3B has successfully been amended then. So technically, I still think we need to vote on the amended motion now. Is there any other comments by the directors, or are we ready to go forward with voting on the amended option 3B? Vice President Nettesheim.
So for the amended motion, got me with the bathrooms. Yeah, got me with the bathrooms. So for 3B, we do have to give up some space in the performance center. There's performance space. We do have to give up some space in the fitness area. What also comes along with that is the social space, which, as most of you know, is kind of near and dear to my heart. We're going to have to give up some space there. But it keeps us closer to the original budget. And I really don't want people schlepping. I truly don't. I think anytime I try and schlep just around my little 2,000 square foot house, it's a challenge. But I also realize that we have a lot on our agenda for PIF monies going forward. And I have to balance that with what we're doing at Mountain View and try and ensure that we keep the whole community whole. So for me, 3B becomes maybe not what I really want, but what I can live with. And so that's kind of where I'm at, and I just wanted to share that with everybody.
Are there any other, Treasurer Gray?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, just, again, I like to keep things as conservative financially as possible. And, but I can guarantee you I won't be voting for 3. So I will be happy to support, again, I think this is the better of the choices that we have before us. So thank you.
Other comments from the board? Secretary Keiss?
Yeah, I kind of want to echo what Treasurer Gray says, although I'm certainly not quite as fiscally conservative as you are. I believe that this presents a good middle option that gets most of what people want and what the data that Triarch has gathered has said the people want at Mountain View. And I do have concerns with option 3B, or option 3, excuse me, the overall cost of that and how that's going to affect other projects that are coming up in the future. And that is of great concern to me. So I like this option.
Other comments? All right, I think we're ready to move forward with the vote on the amended option 3B. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
Treasurer Gray.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
This is what we in economics call the theory of second best. You just take the one that's the best option that's left. And so I will vote yes on this second best option.
Sir, we have 7 yes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. All right, we still need to round this out and address option 3. So is there any discussion by the directors on option 3 that we have not already touched on in our previous comments? Vice President Nettesheim.
So this is my dream option. This is what I would prefer. This is no schlepping. Unfortunately, the budget just came in a little bit higher than I was hoping it was going to come to be able to get to no schlepping. So while this is definitely my preferred option, the budget was just a little bit more than we could go. It just was. So I just wanted to share, I said previously, this is what I can live with. This is what I want. I don't always get everything I want. So this is, instead of the Maserati, we're going to get a Cadillac. So I can live with a Cadillac.
Well, I want to note that this is recorded, that she did say she doesn't get everything she always wants. So I just want to make sure that that's in the record.
And thankfully, her husband can watch this also. So.
Others? Secretary Keiss.
I don't necessarily think that it has been set in stone that the workspace it won't be included in the back of this. The dimensions of what is in the whole of the backspace still has to be worked on. So I don't necessarily think that schlepping is definitely on or off the table at this point, but it's going to be part of the discussions going on to make sure that the back area is right-sized for all of the different organizations that are going to use it, not just the players. It's not just a player's space. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I think that's important to always remind folks that this is for the entire community and not just one entity or one group. Okay. Are we ready to vote on option 3? Yes, sir. Treasurer Gray.
Yeah, if I can just make one more comment. I think it's fitting for us to vote on this because I think you need to have that emotional release of being able to say no on the highest dollar number. I have concerns about your heart at times, so I think you need this. And so I appreciate that we can do this at the end.
So thoughtful, yes. Vice President Edison.
So I get the emotional release of saying yes?
All right. The humor aside, let's go back to the serious business of taking the vote. Would you proceed, Secretary Kais?
Director Brissett,
No.
Director Mapes,
No.
Director Ruff,
No.
I vote no. Treasurer Gray,
No.
Vice President Edison,
No.
President Foster.
No.
Sir, we have 0 yes votes and 7 no votes.
All right. Thank you, sir. So, after hearing from all the members that wanted to speak and discussion by all the board members on all 3 options and voting on all 3 options, the board has identified amended option 3B as the preferred one to move forward with. So I thank everyone for that time and effort. General Manager Hill, it falls to you or perhaps to Director Whiprud to notify the architect of the results of that vote so that they can expeditiously move forward with the project.
To go through a second reading?
Yes, thank you for saying that, which I know raises, yeah, okay. As far as I know, we have no motion to waive the second reading. All right. So, not hearing one,
I move that we vote to waive the second reading.
Second.
We've been going through this for how many years?
depending on who you speak to, anywhere from 10 to 15 years. So I understand that concern, and it's, when you have some momentum, I understand you want to keep moving forward, but I also want to give the membership a chance to speak as many times as possible. But, okay, so there is a motion to waive the second reading and a second on that. Is there any comments from the directors on a motion to waive the second reading? Director Ruff?
We've been talking about this for the whole time that I've been on the board, which is reaching about 3 years. And I think it's been thoroughly digested, discussed in so many different ways. And we would like to get it going, and the sooner the architects get started, the sooner we start shovel-ready. And I think we should do this. Thank you.
Treasurer Gray.
Yeah, I want to echo what Jim had said. I don't, if there was a situation that it bordered and we had not had a lot of public comments and member input on this, if there was a chance that we were really missing something, I would agree with you that we need to give them another chance. But again, I concur with Director Ruff that we've dealt with this. We've had tons of community input. This is a project that we've been dealing with for years. And to quote a former board member, just get it done. So.
Vice President Edison.
So in September, we voted for option 3. So this has actually already been voted for, in essence, for the basic concept. This is a refinement of that concept with more, with specific budgetary amounts assigned to it now. So I think it's just another step along the way. And while I am I truly do not think we should just be waiving second readings willy-nilly. I also agree that since I have been here since 2018, I cannot count the number of meetings we've had regarding Mountain View and the ability for members to weigh in and the ability for members to provide their input. I honestly believe if we go to a second reading, it's not going to be anything different. We're going to hear the same things again. So while I'm not usually, I don't usually agree that we should just, we shouldn't just automatically waive second readings. I do think this one has been debated, discussed, presented in a way that the members have had every opportunity to weigh in and influence the outcome.
Secretary Kais.
Everyone knows my reluctance to waive second readings. And while I agree with a lot of what has been said, the one thing the members haven't had a chance to weigh in on is the amended option 3B. So I would like to, my preference is to make sure they get the ability to weigh in on the amended motion, which they haven't been able to this point.
Others? Any other comments? I would envision that the second, let's not go there yet. We have a motion to waive the second reading that's been seconded. Are there any other comments before we vote on that? Director Brissett.
If we don't vote on it now, we have to wait a whole month, or can there be a special session to vote on it?
Well, there could be a special session, but I'm not seeing too much. There's nothing on the calendar right now to add a special session, so I think your assumption that it would wait till the end of February would be accurate.
Thank you.
All right. I believe we're ready now to vote on the motion to waive the second reading. Secretary Kais, would you take the vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote no. Treasurer Gray.
Yes.
Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
No.
Sir, we have 5 yes votes and 2 no votes.
Thank you, sir. So the motion to waive the second reading has passed. So we are now at the point where we go ahead and notify the architect of the results of this vote, and we'll move forward. Okay.
Alan, can you tell us how many people are online watching this? Do you have that access?
Just a moment.
I'm just curious if anybody's watching.
25 viewers online.
Thank you. All right. So, a watershed day again for Sun City. We have made some tremendous progress here on this particular project. It is moving forward, and I have every reason to believe we are going to break out those shovels in the near future. So, thank you for participating. The next exchange meeting is February 9th. Oh, that gentleman left, so but at 9 a.m. here. The next meeting of the Board of Directors will be on February 26th here at 9 a.m. And we are continuing to work on the annual meeting, which will be March 31st here in this room at, I believe it's 6 p.m. So, yes, Director Ruff.
I'm looking out at, we had 17 people present today, and we have this huge, larger room. I don't know how much work it takes to set this up, maybe we should move to one of the smaller spaces and make it easier on the staff. Just something to think about.
Well, it's Thursday, and it was set up for bingo this evening anyway, but, no, I understand. They would not have to work as hard as early in the day, perhaps, so, but you never know. You know, how many people are going to show up at one of these meetings. It's always a surprise, whether the turnout is large or small. We just don't know. So in any event, that's something to take into consideration and perhaps at least have adequate seating set up, but be prepared to include additional seating if that becomes necessary. All right. I think there's no reason we shouldn't adjourn. Thank you for your participation and your coming and attendance here, and we will see you at our next meeting. Thank you very much. Yes.